All right, here we're just gonna strap this one down real quick. Just throw these over the top. This is not the best way to strap them down, but let's get that a little tighter. Let's take this, kind of loop this, tie this up so it's not flapping in the wind. Got a tie down point there, tie down point there. Technically the straps are just about rated for the weight. They're like 500 pounds each, a little over 1,000 pounds. But put you down for a second as I get belted here. Just the V-ride, and we are off. And today, time and temp update is on September 11th. The 24th anniversary. 442 just getting started here, and 80 degrees. September 11th, a lot going on. Today, won't talk too much about it, but just I don't know. The stuff in this world, the Charlie Kirk stuff is really getting me upset. Real big supporter of his, really loved the work that he did, both his faith, his devotion to the country, his devotion to family, and just common sense. And him taking the initiative, going into the belly of the beast, so to speak, going into these college campuses where they're just woke AF, and challenging them in a very civil, calm, cool, and collected way. I don't know. It's amazing how, if he disagrees with somebody, he has a talk about it. That's what he does for a living. He founded Turning Point USA. He does other stuff, but that's his claim to fame, so to speak, is come prove me wrong. And he welcomes a difference in opinion. And, if these other people have a difference in opinion, they fucking shoot the guy. Cold blood in the neck, blood spewing. Terrible. It just makes me really mad, really upset. But we're not the kind that's going to just imagine if this was on the other side. Imagine that. If the roles were reversed and it was a conservative doing that to a lip, it just doesn't happen. And imagine how bad it would be if it did happen. Anyway, all right, we're going to stop that. There's gravel all over the road here in Beekman. I don't know what's going on. Let's talk about lawns. Let's talk about the week. Monday I took off. I get home late on Mondays, so there's gravel all over the place. Some trucks dropping gravel. It gives us a bad name. Monday I took off from the lawns. Tuesday I did a few that were right next to each other, including a shop that has not been done in about 2.5-3 weeks. That one is kind of cool. That one is not really a lot of mowing. There's just one, I don't know, there's probably only 10 minutes of mowing. Although I do mow down some of the weeds where it's safe enough for me to bring in the mower, if that makes sense. Just trying to think here. It's a lot of weed whacking and trimming, and it's a shop. One of the things they do is they have all these sheds for sale. Come on, upshift. I hate how this does this sometimes. I mean, it's good that it holds the gear, but it's also not at the same time. Anyhow, what was I saying? Just with the upshift, and then what was I talking about before? Jeez Louise. Oh, that place with the shed. So it's a lot of sheds next to each other. There's a lot of weed whacking in between the sheds. You know, they want to have it clean in case anybody comes by looking at them. They can kind of see all sides around them and what have you. So, but it's a friend of ours. It's their business. I mean, they have various businesses kind of run out of there, but it's one of the businesses that's run out of there. And anyway, that one hasn't been touched in some time, so I made sure I got that one tackled and knocked out. I don't know. I've been thinking about that older woman who I did her property a few weeks ago, so it's not super overgrown, but she had like a poison ivy issue on the property. All these properties, there's a lot of poison ivy out there this year. And she needed to like report it to the landlord. And I told her next time I'm around, I'll come take pictures, but I need her to pay me before I come back. You know, she's quite behind is an understatement when it comes to the invoices for her. So, you know, that's the update there with that one. So I don't know, I gotta reach out to her, but that's not gonna be it this week. My sister's about to have a baby, so I'm kind of just trying to get these done as I, you know, pushing things ahead, and so on. So like tomorrow I could go down and do the Mayapack lawns, and that would keep me on schedule. Well, it would actually bring me a day ahead of schedule because I last did them over the weekend. Or we don't really have a lot of plans this weekend, so I could do them over the weekend and then push my Monday or Tuesday lawn to Friday, which I'm thinking of doing. Just in case she has the baby, we got to go see the baby. That saves me some time out of that week. And even if she has the baby later in the week, you know, I just keep pushing everybody forward by a day or two. I think that's kind of my go-to, my plan there. So that's what we got here. Blocking the driveway here. Sealing the driveway? What are we doing? That's the plan there. This lawn that I'm going to now, this is my biggest property in terms of mowing. This property, the gentleman actually who lives here is very, very nice. And this is kind of a dilemma I'm having with myself. And I'll try and talk to him if I see him, but I'm not going to go out of his way because he did make it very clear to me. But he sends me a text last Friday. This is why I was at my day job. This is like early in the morning. He's like, hey, Mike, you know, even with, we had gotten a ton of rain overnight that night. Even with the crazy amount of rain we've had overnight, you know, the rain just had happened. So the grass is barely grown. Like, the grass isn't grown, like, hey, you know. Then he's like, so you don't need to come today. Which would have been fine. Because honestly, some of them were definitely yes. Like, that's the case. His has a very dry spot in the front of the yard where, like, nothing's grown. But there are places in his lawn where things actually grow pretty good in his property. But, you know, this guy has, like, 11 acres. So he's not out on all those acres, right? Again, 11 are not mowable, but there's, I don't know, there's probably like 3 or 4 that are mowable, but it's not like a 3 or 4 square. So it's like a section here, got a back section here. He's not walking the whole thing is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, but he's like, hey, I'll take the, he was due to be my last one, you know, on Friday. And he's like, hey, you know, get an early start to your weekend, please. But please bill me as if you come. And then before I could even respond, he goes like, seriously, like, you know, please invoice me what you usually do. Which, you know, so he said that kind of twice. And like, I'm like, all right, him saying that twice. Normally, even if he kind of said it, I'm not going to invoice him. I'm hoping it's the very beginning of the month. He's going to forget. That's kind of like, you know, I'm not doing the work, I'm not charging you. You know, that's you know, but this guy's a very, very nice guy. The house is almost 7,000 square feet. It's a 6,800 something square foot house. So that's, yeah, clearly, yeah, has money to give, and I do appreciate it. He sent us a gift for the baby when the baby was born. Like, amazing human being. So, you know, I feel like I'm kind of caught in this, well, he has it to give, not like we can, like, we'd be okay without it. But, you know, we could always use with the baby. And him saying that twice kind of solidified, like, okay, I'll charge him as if I normally charge, you know, whatever. So I think what I'm going to do to make it up to him, I'll let him see that. I'll let him charge me, I think was what I'm going to do. If I keep him towards the end of the week, that means he'll have a 4-week month, which will be your typical, what he typically gets billed. It also means that next month he's going to have a 5-month mow, which concludes our season. I think what I'm going to do is he always opts for like fall, like cleanups, spring cleanups, all that kind of stuff. So I think I'm just going to kind of cut his mowing. I'm not going to mow him that last week. Not going to charge him for it. I always give him his sweetheart of a deal in the winter. So I'll continue to do that. I'm not going to raise prices for any of the services for him. I think, and this is just, you know, I'm not going, so I'm not charging him, obviously, but instead of dragging it to, let's just say Halloween's on a Friday. I'm not going to be mowing on Halloween. But that's when my typical season ends. So instead of ending it there, I think I'm going to end it the week before. So let's say like the 24th. I don't know. If I would have mowed it the 30th, let's just, or, you know, whatever, or the 23rd. And then when I come for the cleanup, it's a big property, so I normally go at least twice. Normally get a cleanup done like early November, because he's got a decent amount of leaves that fall in early November. So I'll get one done, like, it's usually like an election day. I've been there the last couple of years. Or like maybe Veterans Day. I don't know, maybe not even that late. And then the other one, like April 15th-ish. Or, you know, depending on the leaves fall. Sometimes they fall early, and by Veterans Day, that property could pretty much be cleaned up. And the way I always do that is, I kind of charge a little heavy for fall, and then always tell them their spring cleanups free if they choose to renew in the following season. So you don't choose to renew, you don't get the free cleanup. You choose to renew, you get the cleanup, and you know, and we try and lock you into a premier rate for the following season. So that's kind of my my little hook for, that's how I do it. Everybody does it differently. Some guys don't want to give away free services, especially, listen, end of March into April, that's when you're struggling for money. And to give out free services is tough. But if you're smart with your money, you know how to do it. Listen, that does not include, let me just be clear, that's just basically your first mow, like getting all the crap out, like picking up some sticks. Make it very clear that does not include storm damage, does not include mulch, plantings, anything like that. You have a little branch down, some twigs, yes. You've got big branches down where I need a chainsaw, or I need a piece of an equipment to lug this, to push this thing into the woods or something. No, you know, so the clients get that. They do. They understand that, and they're really good with that. You know, we're just kind of curious to see affordable lawn maintenance right there. Old Skag Turf Tiger. But I'm curious to see how long this lawn is, because it has gone basically 2 weeks. Wow. It's actually really not bad at all from what I see here. It's this one over here with the rocks entry. It's not bad at all. Okay. Alright, I didn't know if it would have to be, I didn't think we would double cut, but I didn't know if we would have to like mess with the deck height and whatever, but I think we're good. Time on the lawn, 4:56, 78 degrees. We are about to go. Peace.